Ayo, what's up guys? Today I'll be making a video about tips and tricks that Kha Zix players might not use or might not know about whenever they are playing Kha Zix. So let's just jump into it. The first tip or trick is that your passive unseen threat will reset whenever the enemy loses vision of you. Which means that every time you go into a bush where the enemy doesn't have a wall set inside of it, your passive will reset and come back up. And this icon down here, passive unseen threat, will pop up with next to aerial ability or whatever. So you'll know that it's up and that your next auto attack will deal bonus 0.480 damage and slow the enemy target. That's the first thing. Second thing is that you can actually Tiamat and Q while you are jumping midair with your E, but your E has to be evolved. So if we just spawn a dummy, the way you will use this combo is that you will E first, then you will Tiamat, and then you will Q. So what you're going to do is that you will first press E, then you press Tiamat, whatever keybind you have set Tiamat to, and then you Q in the end before you land on the ground. So let's see how it actually looks. That's how it looks. If you want to do it a little bit more spicy, you can actually also add W. You can't W mid-air, but you can either use it before you jump, so it will look like this. That was actually looking really well. Let's try that again. First you W, and then you E Tiamat Q. Wait, I messed that up. W first, then you E Tiamat Q. Like that. You can also do it with W in the end, where you snipe the people with the W. So that will look like this. You press E first, then you Tiamat Q, and then you W when you land. So it'll look like this. That's how the combo will look like. So you can actually Tiamat and Q in the same jump whenever the E is evolved. The E has to be evolved before you can use abilities and items in the jump. You can also put down vision, which means that you can jump and then you can actually vault in a bush. So you can jump into a bush and then you can actually vault midair if you want to do that. So yeah, that's how it works. The third tip is that whenever you evolve your Q, you actually get a 50 bonus range. Which actually means that if you're trying to run someone down and you're not in range with auto attack, you can actually Q them, because your Q will have longer range than your auto attack will. So remember that if someone is really low and you just need the last bit of damage to finish them off, and you have Q evolved, use Q instead of your auto attack, because that will, then you will have to not be as close to them as if you were supposed to kill them with auto attack. The fourth tip actually is combined with the second tip, and that is that your Q is actually extended in your jump, which means that, as you can see here, I can barely Q. I'll have to actually walk a bit more up. But if I use my E, I can actually extend my Q range, so I can actually Q while not being in range. So I can actually jump over here and I can Q. I actually Q'd him from this range. And I was actually not in range, as you can see. So it actually extends your Q range even more. I can also stay close to him and I can E away and Q. So that's just the tip, that your Q is, it doesn't have more range, or I don't know how to explain it. It has more range. The Q range is actually extended, so it's actually longer when you are in your E. The E still has to be evolved, and same thing goes for the Q. But that's just a tip, that you can actually extend your Q range by using your evolved E. The fifth tip is actually a tip that I didn't always know about, but I realized it quite late into my Kha main journey, I would say. And that is your ulti. ignores unit collision. And that means that you can't be minion blocked if you're using your ulti. As you can see, I cannot walk in between, or I can, but I'm getting blocked like all the time with these minions. So, if I ulti, I can run past them. So I can just do this, and I can run straight through them. Compared to me having to be body blocked like this all the time. I can just ulti in between and run actually on top of them. So if you're chasing someone down in between minions, just use your ulti so you don't get minion blocked, and you can just run past the minions to your target. That's a pretty cool tip that I didn't personally know about in the start of being Kha Zix main, but actually I think it was a year into me playing Kha Zix that I actually found out that's how it works. The sixth tip is that your W, when evolved, gives sight of enemies. So if we again spawn a dummy, and we spawn it over here, let's spawn it where we don't have vision. If we spawn it here, now we can't see it, we don't have vision of it, but if we use W, we gain vision of it. So you can use this as a scouting tool. So if you think someone is on the opposite side of the wall, you can just W and you will gain vision of them. And then it's for 2 seconds, so you'll get a short reveal of who is actually on the opposite side of the wall. So you don't have to either E or use your ward, you can just use your W and you'll gain vision of them. So that's pretty cool. And it's really good for not face checking enemies or other assassins that might be able to one-shot you. The seventh tip is that your passive also slows, which means that whenever you want to do a combo, especially in the early game, if you want to use your full damage combo, it'll kind of look like this. So if your opponent has flash up and you want to do a gank, what you want to do is walk up, try to walk behind them, then you auto attack Q. You auto attack Q, and then you can use W either for sniping or the healing or whatever, whenever you feel like it. And then if the enemy flashes, you can follow their flash with your E, and then you can again auto attack and Q them, hopefully for the kill. You don't have to use your flash to follow their flash, you can just use your E instead. So you want to walk behind them, get in melee range, first auto attack them so you proc the slow, then Q, and then either W for the healing, and then wait for them to flash. If they don't flash, you just kill them, but if they flash, you can just follow them with your E, and then you can finish them off. So that's pretty much how your combo in laning phase when ganking, how that one works. The eighth tip is that your ulti can cancel targeted abilities. And the most funny one, or the most cool looking one, is canceling Darius ulti. So Darius will most likely have 5 stacks, he is about to ulti you, and then you press ulti, and then you go invis, and then he won't get the dunk on you. So the animation will be cancelled, the cooldown will still be up, which means that he can ulti again, but then you can ulti again to cancel it one more time. So if you're about to get dunked by Darius ulti and you have your ulti up, press ulti before it hits, and then you will cancel it, and then you can hopefully finish him off. Otherwise you can just ulti again to cancel it one more time. So remember to use that, and don't be scared of Darius. You can actually just E on top of Darius, and then just wait for him to ulti you, and then you ulti him, ulti on him, so his ulti gets cancelled, and you just kill him. The 10th tip is actually a tip that I failed quite a few times actually. I didn't know how it worked first time. And that is that your flash will cancel your E jump. So if I want to extend my jump, I will have to flash E and not E flash. I'll show you how E flash works. So you E and then you flash, but then your jump gets cancelled, and that's not what you want to do. What you want to do to extend your jump is flash and then E at the same time. So you can just flash E, and then you use your flash and your E to keep distance, or gain distance, or keep distance from your opponent. But remember to flash first and then E, not the opposite way around. That's awkward. The 11th and last tip for this video is that your Q is not an auto attack, which means that if you're against champions such as Pantheon and his passive is up, which blocks auto attacks, you can still Q and deal damage to him. Same thing goes for Jack's Counter Strike. If he uses his E and it's active, you see him spin the staff around him. You can still Q and deal damage to him, you just can't auto attack him. So if you're against champions such as Pantheon or Jax, just keep on pressing Q on them, cause that ability will still do damage since it's not an auto attack. So those are my 11 tips and tricks for Kha Zix that Kha Zix players and even maybe mains might not know about or might not do whenever they're playing Kha Zix. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next YouTube video or on my next stream. See you guys.